All right, welcome back, everyone. So this one, we're going to start from just our platonic solid here, and I want to show you how to create really intricate designs for each one of these faces, and then how to bring them in from Illustrator and make them work with Rhino to create our little cutouts here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So yes, I am using an icosahedron, which is got 20 sides, which means that if I was going to do individual designs for each one of these sides, it would be quite complicated. So my advice is to not use different sides for every side unless you're using a simpler design. But what we're going to be doing is, firstly, we're going to create a template from our sides. So I'm going to select my whole solid object here and unroll surfaces. And that's going to give me all of the triangles that we're going to use. So that's all 20 triangles ready to go. Now, if you had different sides for this, you could pick and choose which ones you wanted to use. You can also, interestingly enough, there's another couple of little settings we could use here. Unroll surface here. You can try these out. So I could go to explode no and hit enter. And then it gives you this pattern. Which has everything all kind of in one area. You can bring this whole, you can then kind of visualize how it would fold together if it was a folding object. Other settings you can do with unroll surfaces here is you can have them be labeled. So label yes, and then hit enter. And so now you can see where the edges kind of butt up to each other. So you'll see there's a 0 there and they butt up to each other. So that's really nice for more complex objects. So again, unroll surfaces. This time we're going to go explode yes, leave them labeled, enter again. And now you'll see each one of these triangles has a related where they kind of meet up. So this 1 would line up with this 1, 4 would line up with this 4. So you can see kind of how they go together. So this is nice for creating a template for more complex objects that have different shape sides on all sides. The platonic solids that I recommend using all usually have the exact same sides, which makes things a little bit easier for laser cutting and creating your object. Okay, so next what we're going to be doing is I'm going to unroll surfaces here. Since my object is platonic and it's all the same on every side, I'm going to get rid of the labels. I don't need the labels. I'm now going to unroll the surfaces here. And then I'm going to take one of these surfaces and I'm going to move it up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle at 10 inches, enter, by 10 inches, enter. So remembering to use the quote here. And then I'm basically going to move this down over here to right here. And so this is going to be my template for bringing it into Photoshop or Illustrator, sorry. So next I'm going to go ahead and go make 2D, which is going to turn this into vectors. Say OK instead of a surface. So now I've got, this is my little triangle here. I can delete this one. I can move this guy over here. This is the one we're going to use as our reference. Okay, so next I'm going to export this. So file print as a PDF. I'm going to use 1:1 scale. And then I'm going to take a window here and I want to do 10 by 10. And I'm going to come down here and do set. And I'm going to go from right here to right there. Do not change the scale. Enter. So it's a 1:1 scale still. You need to make sure that's like that. Also need to make sure that vector output is set. And then we go print. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it in here and just replace the one I already did. And then you're going to open it up in Illustrator. Now, this is an example of like a pattern I've created on this surface. And this can be done by, drawing it and then using live trace or using the pen tool and actually drawing your design, which any way you want to do it, you get the design that's going to fit on your surface. I mean, technically I might want to also have like a little bit more styles, like up here, maybe I'll have like a little triangle, whatever, so a little bit more cutouts and stuff. But I'm not going to do that for the demo purposes because there's just a lot of negative space here. Okay, but once you get kind of a vector drawing put on here, you want to make sure that there's no fill on it. So you can see here, there's a no fill. So select the whole thing if you need to, and just double click here, make sure no fill is selected there. Or not double click, but single click, no fill. Okay. And then rotate it around here and just make sure this color is set to, I'll do like a black. Okay. Then what we do is you just go File, Save As, and we'll save this as a PDF, and we'll just call it Platonic Solid 1. Save that, replace it. Cool. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come back to Rhino, and we're going to File, Import, and we're going to import our drawing here. One thing to remember is that we're using inches in Illustrator, and here we're using millimeters. So I need to make preserve units. 1 inch equals 25.4 Rhino units, which will allow us to make sure that we're using the right scale factor, and then go ahead and hit OK. And of course, this can be done with text or whatever else. Awesome. So now we've got our vectors on a triangle, all nice and lined up. I'm going to delete any extra lines I don't need. Another thing I want to do is I want to go through here and make sure sometimes when you bring this in, it duplicates the curves. So I'm going to click on each one of these and see where they say 2 curves here. I want to make sure that I get rid of all of the extras. Sometimes you can go to Edit, Select Objects, and you can go to Duplicate Objects. But in this case, for some reason, it's not finding any of them duplicated, but there are duplicates. So another thing to think about is anything that's completely like island based, like this circle is going to be a circle within another cutout. That's not going to work. So I don't need these. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. And so basically you want to think about the way the cutter is going to work. And if it's going to make the whole thing fall out, that's not going to work. Like this is going to be cut out of this triangle. And so the whole circle, this whole area here is just not going to work. So I need to get rid of that. Okay. So this is an island. This is an island. You just want to make sure they're all islands. But again, go through here, click on each one. See, this one says 2 curves. What? I don't need both. Click on one, delete it. So now it shows just one. And then as I'm doing this, what I like to do is I hide it. So I've worked on that one, hide it. And then I've got this one, delete, work on this one, hide it. That's how I make sure I get them all. Click that, delete that, hide. Just type in the word hide. Click on that, delete that, click it once. Nothing's coming up showing there's a duplicate. Curve here, delete, click here, nothing. Delete, hide. One, 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 one. Okay. Then I'll bring everything back by going to standard here and right clicking on the little light bulb there. So now I know I've only got one set of lines here. I don't have duplicates on top of each other. Now I'm ready to move on to the next step. So the next step is to draw a rectangle again. And I'm going to make sure that my smart track is turned on. And I'm going to go from right here to up here. Just touch it until you see the little white cross and then kind of bring it straight across here. And then I'm going to come down here, touch it till you see a white cross. You see the 2 white crosses and then it'll snap it in and I can click. So basically I wanted to create a rectangle that perfectly encapsulates the triangle that I'm going to be working from. All right, back to perspective. I can delete this one. I'm going to move this closer to my object. Right now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of these. We're going to remake our cut lines later on anyway. So I'm just going to set this kind of close to this object here. And now what we want to do is we want to take this shape and we want to put it on each one of them, extrude it. So I'm going to first extrude this object. So grab that, just the line work. And then I'm going to hold down Shift on the extrude here to do a both sides extrusion. Shift, click. And then I'm going to do 5. And what that's going to do is that will extrude this up and down 5 millimeters. All right. You can see it's below this surface if I look at it that way. Very cool. Next thing we want to do is we want to actually make the thickness of this object. So I'm going to go ahead and find the top of it here and just Control-Shift-click on this and hit delete to delete that face. Then I'm going to go ahead and go offset, and I'm going to do a distance of 3 millimeters. Wait, offset surface. Offset surface, click on this, enter, distance is 3. I want it flipped inwards, so I'm going to flip all, escape. I just hit escape to go back to the previous one. Flip all so it goes in. Make sure corners are sharp. Solid, yes. And delete input, yes. All of that looks good. Enter. So now that gives me the thickness of my wood. This is how it's going to look when I've got it laser cut and beveled and everything. So next we want to make this part go on each one of these faces, and we'll Boolean difference them out. So this is dealing with construction planes, which is a lot of fun. Yay. So I'm just going to start with this bottom plane here. So I'm going to turn on Auto C-Plane here, and then go Control-Shift-click on this, or Command-Shift if you have a Mac. And now the construction plane is locked onto there. Then I'm going to go to Set View, and then right here, I'm going to go to Plan View of C-Plane. So now my view here in this perspective window is set to this plan view of the C-plane here. Perfect. Then I'm going to go to my top view here. I know there's a lot of steps, but once you get the hang of it, because you'll be doing it multiple times, it'll be pretty easy. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click out of this, and I'm going to select flow along a surface. And then I'm going to select the objects I'd like to flow along the surface, which is this. Select those. Enter. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to create a plane. So this plane is going to go from this corner, and that's why we created this box, to there. I click up at there. I don't hit enter or anything like that. Now it says target surface. I switch back to perspective, and then I click my surface. And what we've done now, if I go to set view over here again, set view to perspective, turn off my auto C-plane, rotate to the bottom, you can now see I've got that object on that surface. And this is going to work for every single surface we do. And then what we want to do is we want to Boolean difference out this solid shape. So we go Boolean difference. Select the object you want to keep, enter. Left to right select on this, to select that, enter. And as you can see, it has now created a perfect visualization of how we're going to, how this is going to look when it's laser cut. And then you have to really think, okay, now is there anything floating that isn't attached? Now these are very flimsy right here. So this could break off kind of easily. I know that, but I'm going to just risk it because what's holding this whole thing together is this little corner right here. Because inside of here, I can look at this negative space and nothing is floating, right? There are no floating objects. If I go left to right select here and you grab on anything other than the curves, like I can just delete these curves actually. Left to right select here. See, it's all one piece. If anything was floating there, I would be able to grab it, and that would mean that it wouldn't work because it's, gravity and stuff. So there we go. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rinse and repeat that for each one of these faces. So again, I'll do it one more time here, and then I'll do it kind of sped up so that you'll see kind of what I'm doing. All right. So again, go to another surface, and you can pick any surface you want. Say I want to do this one. Make sure my auto C-plane is turned on. Control-Shift-click here. That has now created the C-plane onto that object. We go up to our set view tools here and go to our plan view of C-plane. That has now locked us in here. We switch to our top view. We click out of it so it's no longer selected. We then go flow along a surface. We select our objects to flow, which are these, left to right select, enter. Then we got to hit P for plane or click up there, and then we draw out here to that. and click. So we got the two white little squares there. Perfect. Now we switch back to perspective view, and then it says target surface. You're my target surface. Click there. Something went wrong. I think I might have accidentally clicked through it or something like that. Let's see. Do it again. Top view. Select our objects. Flow along the surface. P for plane. Click from here to there. Perspective. Control Shift click on this plane so that it makes sure I'm selecting the right dang plane. All right, so the one thing I noticed, well, on that last one, it kind of distorted and was off to the wrong side here. So what we need to make sure you have is your gumball is set to object. I'm sorry, to C-plane, and then your auto C-plane is set to object. Those are kind of the two crucial things here. So again, auto C-plane, Control Shift click on the surface that we're going to be using. Then we go up here and we go, actually, you know what? Let's do another thing too. Let's actually go ahead and open all 4 of these. And I want to split these two. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click right here and I'm going to go to close viewport. Then I'm going to click right here and I'm going to go to, you guessed it, close viewport. Oh. Okay. And then I'm going to pull these down so that I've got maximum viewport on the top and then the maximized viewport on this perspective view here. And then under our, of course, our set view, we're going to go to align to the object here. Okay. And then click out of it over here. And this is going to make things a lot quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and go to flow along the surface, select our object to flow, enter P, enter for the plane, draw the plane, and then click. And that's going to be the quickest way to just apply them to each one of these. And then I'm going to do that over and over again. So Control Shift click here, and then I'm going to go to that view, and then I'm going to come over here, click out of that, flow along the surface, P, enter. So I do the plane, do this, and then come over here and click. And just keep doing that until you get them all done. Okay. And then once you get them all done on all sides, I'm going to go ahead and left to right select and get rid of this guy here. And I'm going to set view here to perspective. And I'm going to turn off my auto C-plane or turn everything back to normal. Then once you get them all done the way you want, we're going to go ahead and Boolean difference them out. So go Boolean difference, click on what you want to keep, and then select all of them, enter. This might take a while, so just let the spinning wheel go crazy while it's figuring out all of those calculations to remove out all of those geometric structures. All right, so now we can see that I have on most of the sides here I've already done. And yeah, that's basically how you can create really beautiful graphics and place them on each face. I will finish this out, and then in the next one we'll talk about layouts again and finishing out this model. But that should do it for this one.